a man was on a British Airways flight, and the stewardess came up to him and said that he couldn't sit there because it was company policy that a man could not sit next to minors. There were children in the next seats, and they asked him to move. Now he turned around and he said, look, these are my kids, and the issue settled down. But apparently British Airways, Qantas, and Air New Zealand all have this policy. So why in the world would any man be so considered inadequate or evil to not be allowed to sit next to a child? That means the stereotype is absolutely pervasive, even though only several percent of men are actually sexual abusers of children.
So that's the misandry you're talking about right there.
And there it was. And this Boris Johnson was a member of the British Parliament, okay? So here we have airlines making these rules on the basis of these wild stereotypes.
Okay, we've got a few minutes here, and let me put a very large issue on the table to tackle in our remaining moments. David, is gender equality possible?
Yes, absolutely. What we need, we've seen only a half of the story. The story we've seen is the ways that men are powerful and the ways that women are powerless. If we explore also the ways that women are powerful and the ways that men are powerless, if we put all of those on the table, then gender equality will be a fait accompli.
How does that happen?
It happens like what we're doing here. But we have to recognize that just talking about it, goes only so far. What we're really talking about is unearthing the kind of feelings, the common sense test that we've been talking about that makes it so hard for us to believe that women could be as violent as men. Really looking into what is true here, the things that don't feel right on first blush, and exploring them and doing the work that is required to look deeper into these questions.
Catherine Young, is gender equality possible?
Of course it's possible, but the first step now is, just as women had to undergo consciousness raising to detect the problems of androcentrism, now men have to undergo a parallel kind of process. And then we need really good social scientific studies that gets the data out. We need good mechanisms of dialogue. We need public policy that takes the perspectives of both men and women into consideration. And maybe at that point, then we'll start to move forward in what should be an egalitarian society.
Walter, what would you do to strike a better balance?
Well, you have to get rid of the notion that men are bad and women are good, and you have to accept the proposition that both men and women are capable of good and evil.
How difficult is that a prospect as you look forward?
Well, the problem is the institutionalization through our justice system and through the way politics is done in this country. We've institutionalized the notion that men are bad and women are good, and we've got to get rid of that.
Last minute to Ian.
Well, I can only say I finally agreed with something Walter said, but
that might mean I'm wrong.
I'm not trying to go back to this book. What I meant to say, The Private Lives of Men. We began this in response to an anthology by Carol Shields, which was women writing about women for women in that sort of terrarium that women write and publish in. And we thought men would buy this, and men do buy it. But the surprise has been that many, many, many more women buy this book. I think there is a great hunger amongst women as they come into power, as they lose their traditional sense of femininity and start to have to kind of become guys. I think they want to understand the men who have always been the men a lot more, and I take great comfort in that.
Let's see how our viewers voted on this issue tonight. We asked people at the beginning of the program, do you think in some circumstances men are discriminated against? And our viewers overwhelmingly said yes. 84% to 16% said yes, they are. I want to thank all of you for participating in this debate this evening, starting with David Shackleton in Ottawa and Catherine Young in Montreal. Good to have both of you on the line contributing to the program. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
And Walter Fox and Ian Brown, great to have you alongside as well here in Toronto. For more information on tonight's guests and for producer Mike Miner's blog post on being a sharp-dressed man, visit tvo.org/theagenda. And remember, every Thursday we take our cues from you, dear viewers, so log on to tvo.org/theagenda and let us know about your agenda. And that is the agenda for Thursday, December 14th, 2006. Tomorrow night, a closer look at whether structured political parties help or hurt the formation of good public policy. I'm Steve Paikin. Thanks for watching TVO, and we'll see you again tomorrow.